Hello, people of YouTube.
Hello.
I'm American McGee.
I'm Martin.
When I move on my chair like that, it sounds like a fart, but I promise it's not. Martin hopes that it's not.
I'll let you know.
Yeah. So we are coming to you live from the Underground Lair in Shanghai, China, where it is just hours away. Hey, from the start of... What are you doing over there?
Getting comfy.
So it's just hours away from the start of Chinese New Year in China, known as Chengdia. Cheng means spring and Jia means day. So it's essentially the spring day holiday.
Okay.
The beginning of spring is upon us. And for that, there's going to be, what is it, Martin? It's a mass migration.
A million billion people.
A million billion.
Will take to the mass transit systems of China.
It is absolutely mental. I don't know how many people out there have ever seen what happens during this time of year. Now, if you've watched our channel for a while, you'll actually know that last time round we did talk about this a bit.
I think we probably did.
And so this is a map showing the migration patterns. Now, I believe it's something, there's a population of 1.3 billion people living in China. But I think that when this migration happens, it's something like 500 million people travel. And you can see most of China lives on the East Coast. And so there's a tremendous amount of travel from Shanghai and Beijing back to the old hometowns, and the train stations, airports, and other travel locations just fill up with like bazillions of people.
I can't think of anything worse.
Well, people go and they take diapers. I mean, there's adults in these lines wearing diapers because you cannot get out of line to go to the bathroom. The trains, of course, as you can see here, are completely packed. I mean, it's literally standing room only. And in line, you will oftentimes see people who are carrying their own, here's a line of people who are carrying their little stools with them as they stand in line getting ready to jump onto a train. So it's
bonkers.
It is absolutely bonkers. And as a result of how bonkers it is, we're actually going to take some time off because that's just what you do. Everything's shut down. The factories.
Yeah. Shops, for the most part. It's still, I was talking to a friend. They were like, how are you going to eat?
Yeah.
Chinese New Year's coming. I think it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Some stuff closes, but, the major places like big restaurants or Western stuff, McDonald's, KFC.
But all the big stuff, factories shut down, and importantly for us, all of the shipping shuts down. So the companies that we work with to send things out to the world, those all stop for some weeks, actually. So if you were having anything manufactured in China, it's not getting done for this month. If you're having anything shipped from China, it's not getting done for at least 10 or 15 days. Which does bring us to the things that we will try to... These will be the last things that try to escape from China before the holidays.
Today's prizes.
What are we giving away?
Attempt to get them out.
What are we sending out of China on the final boats out before the apocalypse?
A variety of things.
Yeah. Patches.
Patch set 1 comes first.
Yeah.
Then patch set 2. And then we're going to do an Out of the Woods game.
Somewhere over here. There's so much stuff on the table. Woo!
And then a Wascally Wabbit.
Yay. It's too bad it's not Year of the Rabbit. Do you know what year it is?
Pig.
It's the Year of the Pig.
See, yes. I know.
Actually, pigs are quite auspicious in China. It's a very well-known kind of colloquialism that the Chinese character for home is a roof with a pig underneath. Did you know that?
I didn't.
Well, now you know. So the idea is that every home, if it's a true home, must have a pig inside. That's a sign of wealth and prosperity, to have a pig in your house.
I know that pigs were popular over here.
Yeah.
I didn't know the word for pig was in the word for house.
That'll do, pig.
That'll do.
Well, let's just jump right in. We have a lot of things to cover today, starting with art review. Now, many of you are aware of the fact that we have a selection going on between magic swirls and no magic swirls. Where is this contest sitting at right now, Martin?
It's sitting at magic swirls are winning 53% of the vote.
Woo!
So I think it's probably for the best that we just call it now.
You're going to call it, but
I'm going to call it. I'm going to say that next month's art print will be Swirls.
You heard it here first, people. Font Lord has called the contest in terms of it is Swirls. Swirls have won.
Democracy has spoken.
Now, you know what's going to happen. There are going to be a bunch of people who pile into the comments and over on Patreon and who tell us that the Russians manipulated this election.
They might have done.
They're going to tell us that that was not fair and that there was voter manipulation, that there was vote tampering. Because we did see for a while there it was 50-50.
It was exactly 50-50.
And I was concerned that if it stayed 50-50, we were going to have to do a coin toss, and we were going to have to decide it for the people.
Well, it's now decided.
Which one did you like best?
I actually did like Swirls.
I like Swirls too. I was quite surprised, actually. I have to say, I was surprised that there was a group of people who wanted no Swirls. I felt that it just wasn't as magical as it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, you did go and try to look into lenticular prints.
I did. I went to the print shop and I asked the fine people there.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't seem overly clued in on how you make them.
Right.
But we got a rough idea and could give it a whirl, I think.
Now, are we going to do this Brexit style? So there was the original Brexit vote, and then there was a people's referendum, and then there was another... there was a referendum in where you elected new officials, but it turns out that most of the new officials, politicians who were elected, also were pro-Brexit. And now in this last go-around... By the way, I mean, just go. It just seems like 4 times now you've been told by the people to go.
I did go. I'm in China.
You did Brexit. Martin
I
Brexited a long time ago.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Speaking...
So what, are you talking something? We need another vote for the lenticular print? How did you segue into that?
I just was thinking, yeah, you know, we have this voter manipulation. It's a very close race. It was 50-50, and then suddenly it wasn't. I think my point is, you know, we can't just stop now. We've got to keep this going. There's got to be more polls on polls.
Ice Killer says no Swirls was winning. Oh, we did. We got it wrong.
Who got it wrong?
Me.
Okay.
I thought yes, Swirls was at the top. Ah.
Are you saying that that Font Lord did something wrong?
I'm saying I looked at the bars and I got it wrong.
Okay.
Clearly, no Swirls is winning.
Well, there you go.
Thank you, Ice Killer, for pointing that out.
And look who's officiating over this. Look who's.
Can you do a Trump
staring
voice talking about Swirls?
I don't know how to do a Trump voice.
I don't know.
I wouldn't even want to. I wouldn't even want to try.
All right, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Apparently, no Swirls won.
Swirls.
How about that for a shock U-turn?
There you go. All right. So then Alice on Elm Street is here with a $10 super chat saying, I'm claiming this stream in the name of my birthday. Oh, well, that's very wonderful.
Birthday.
Happy birthday, Alice on Elm Street. It is the 30th of January, but I guess where you are, it's probably the 29th. We are in the future. You were already old here. So welcome to being even older. But happy birthday. Right. So that is Swirls, not Swirls. And it's going to be no Swirls.
No Swirls.
No Swirls
that
it is.
Has now been verified.
Right. Well, moving on. No Swirls, but there is Nutcracker. Now, Omri sent this along. This is an update to the Nutcracker. We had talked about using the Nutcracker previously as a weapon and a companion. And he's now done a bit of thinking on how this might work. He did actually say in the email to which this image was attached that he thought perhaps we shouldn't go back to toys as weapons. He thought it should be all about the Vorpal blade, and that the Vorpal blade could chaotically reassemble itself into a variety of different weapons.
Like Alex's concept from a few months back? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, I think he may be kind of gravitating back towards that concept. He was basically saying that he thinks, you know, we've already done toys as weapons in the first Alice game. Why go back and do it all over again? Aren't we more creative and special than that? And so he may have a point there. What do you think?
Possibly. If the blade can transform in a good way without it looking, I don't know, maybe too futuristic or something.
Yeah.
If it can somehow work, then I don't see why not.
Well, I mean, we make it magically runey. You know, it's sort of rune-like. R-U-N-E, not R-rune, as Stewie would say. So anyway, I do think we'll have to revisit this concept because the question about what types of weapons we have is one that we just covered during a recent crowd design stream.
Yes.
And so I think that, it's still a question mark, but he has a couple of ideas here. Obviously, he's done the...
Taking a selfie with the Nutcracker.
No. At least she's not dabbing. She is doing a selfie. Oh, Omri. Okay. So he is quite a bit bigger. He's kind of like a Big Daddy.
Looks it. It's massive.
Yeah. And then he's able to use the blunderbuss. Now, I like this. This is kind of a cool idea that the blunderbuss was his weapon as opposed to her weapon. Mm-hmm. And so that the only person who could use the blunderbuss in Asylum would be him. And then maybe towards the end of Asylum, he dies or otherwise relinquishes his command of the blunderbuss. And so that makes for an explanation as to why Alice has it later on.
Oh, no. Don't die.
Well, he doesn't have to die. Maybe he just goes off to Cracker Land. I don't know.
Cracker Land.
So anyway, he's got him using the blunderbuss to blow out walls. I like that. Though one of my issues with these types of things is that the walls, and we had these types of walls in Madness Returns, but they always have to be kind of marked as very clearly destructible walls. And that always makes me sad. I do wish that it was possible to have games in which the environments were completely destructible, but then of course doing that would mean it's very difficult to guide the player through an experience because they could just sit around, as in Minecraft, destroying the entire environment.
Yes.
Yeah,
it would be... People would break the game if that was possible. They'd find ways to do stuff they shouldn't do.
They would.
If everything was destructible.
But it's a fun idea. There's a guy I follow over on Twitter right now who's doing a voxel engine, and he's using that technology to build an entirely destructible environment. And it also has dynamic lighting, which is ray traced lighting that, relights the scene instantaneously how much ever you destroy the environment. And it's a very cool thing to see his videos and the concepts that he's working with. But again, you see that and you think, yeah, but I mean, you would be really hard pressed to build a world and a game like that and keep the player in the box of the story if it's possible to destroy things willy-nilly wherever. So
yeah, there was sort of like a flood of these voxel-based games that came out, or at least were threatening to come out when Minecraft was sort of like taking over the world.
Right.
I don't remember the names of any, but there were some
there were
really kind of pleasant-looking ones.
Yeah.
Can't remember.
Well, he does have the Nutcracker then helping Alice to climb. I like that idea. Having him either toss her through the air or forming a ramp or a bridge out of his body is kind of cool. And then also doing various forms of melee attacks and then also hints, apparently hinting that Alice should immigrate to Canada. There you go. Maybe that's where he thinks Cracker Land is. I don't know. So anyway, there's quite a lot that's been updated here. And of course, this is an original sort of standard Nutcracker as we all understand Nutcrackers. This was a sort of second version. I think Joey did that Nutcracker head.
Right.
And so this is Omri's latest. I love this.
Beard should flap.
Well, of course it should. Yeah.
It should.
That's good. I like his teeth and his gums, though.
Yeah,
that's suitably
cool. Creepy.
He's super creepy. He's pretty good.
Is he missing his big sort of sausage nose? Is that the gap where it should have been?
Well, it looks like it's been destroyed in battle, don't you think?
Maybe.
Yeah, could be. Yeah. Anyway, let us know in the comments what you think of this companion. Captain Steve, Captain Rob, Bart, Joe Bob, Wade, Lewis. Anyway, he's a Nutcracker soldier, so do let us know. Would you want this guy being your companion? And do you have any other ideas of how he might help you in your adventures?
Let us know.
Yeah, interesting. I like that guy. And I really do like the idea of someone being along to help her out.
Yeah.
We are now talking, though, about there being essentially 2 characters that are with her on her journey that are sort of companions. Actually, 3 because of the Cheshire Cat. So the Cheshire Cat was the original.
Yep.
And then we're now talking about this talking weapon that is the Nutcracker.
And, of course, the rabbit.
Yeah.
Alice certainly isn't going to be lonely.
Seems that way. We might be overburdening her with companions.
Possibly.
I did see somebody in the chat asking about the White Rabbit, so maybe we'll just segue to that really quickly. They were asking, when are these going to ship? So that, I guess, would pertain to anyone who has backed, or I should say pledged on Patreon to get one of these things. So you need to do that by the 31st of January, which is just like 48 hours away.
Wherever you are in the world.
Yeah, I mean, midnight on the 31st. I don't even know how to say that. Because is midnight the 31st at the 30th as it becomes the 31st? I've had people ask that question, though.
Who thinks that?
People think that. Anyway, so the point is, if you're looking at your clock and it says 11:59 p.m. on the 31st of January, you're probably too late. Now, I don't know how this works in terms of time zone, global time zone, but I also don't know why people are trying to cut it so damn close to the line.
Yeah.
It's a pledge. So if you pledge, it doesn't take the money from you at the moment that you pledge. I know there's a lot of people out there who are, hey, my paycheck doesn't come in until, the 1st. First of all, we talked about this before the stream. I do think that if your finances are so tight that you're struggling to get the rabbit based on, I don't know that you should be buying the rabbit. I mean,
buy food instead.
Or
pay rent.
Save money. Saving money. I feel bad. I mean, I know we've done a lot of marketing, and we marketing. The whole point of that in a capitalist society is to drive people to buy things. But I mean, I feel bad when I see people who are saying, "Oh, my check comes in on this date, and I don't know if I can afford it." And geez, man. Okay, maybe just save money. Anyway, it's a pledge. The money doesn't get taken out the moment that you pledge. It gets taken out when Patreon processes payments, which happens like around the 4th or 5th of the following month. So in this case, that would be
like that.
February 5th. But back to the question, when will those actually ship to customers around the world?
Well, I expect I'm going to start wangling the data on the 18th or maybe the 17th just to be safe, of February. Hopefully shouldn't take too long, and Chinese New Year will have finished by then.
Yeah.
So pull up the calendar. Let's have a look at February. See, I wouldn't be surprised if stuff possibly started shipping on the week of the 25th. Certainly the end of February, perhaps.
Yeah, well, to be safe, what I would say is that everything will start shipping for sure by March 1st.
I would say for sure.
That's just being super safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the holiday does throw a big spanner into the whole everything.
Yeah, all the shipping companies, they do have to play catch-up, like we are still playing catch-up from Christmas.
Oh, yeah, we got to mention that too. But in that pack, if you do opt in on that and you successfully pledge before the deadline, you will get a White Rabbit plush, you'll get a Lulu patch, Lulu not included, you will get a canvas inmate property bag, and you will get an in-game rabbit dress. Early access, please don't freak out about DLC exclusives. It's early access to that dress in the game when the game is finally released. And so all of that for $45 shipped anywhere in the world. And I swear to you, I'm really excited that we will no longer have to talk about this after midnight on the 31st.
We will, because people are going to message us.
But we don't have
Am I too late?
But we don't have to sell it anymore, is my point. I get really tired of, I feel like I'm turning into QVC, you know. I don't really, I mean, we do it and we want to do it, but yeah, anyway.
What was that super chat?
Lilium
West. Thank you for the super chat. This stream has made my day. Thank you. Oh,
wow, thank you.
Thank you.
For the $5 Canadian.
Happy to know we're cheering you up somewhat.
I hope you survived the polar vortex. That looks mental. The States is being hit by
a polar vortex, apparently.
Apocalyptic polar vortex. According to Trump, if you stand outside for even 1 minute, you will die. So, yeah.
So don't do that.
There you go.
I feel there's something on my hat.
Well,
it was in my vision.
All right. So we have been doing some updates on these health dispensers. Now, I think we talked about these last week, but I don't remember if we actually looked at this. Did we look at this art last week? No. Okay, so this came in from Alex. This is an idea for a health dispenser in Asylum, and it has a bit of a music box theme to it. I like this because it reminds me quite a bit of a Hell Cube, like the Cenobites played with in
the puzzle box.
Yeah, what was that called? It's got
puzzle
a name.
Box.
Is it called Puzzle Box?
I believe so.
There you go. Well, so the Puzzle Box from... No, it had a different name than that. I could have swore. Okay, anyway, I believe
Maybe it did, but I just think of it as the Hellraisers, the Cenobites Puzzle Box.
I know they were called Cenobites, and I know that was Hellblazer. Hellraiser? Anyway.
Hellraiser.
Yeah. Anyway, I liked those movies.
Yeah. They got a bit silly.
They did, but I thought they
went into space at one point, didn't they?
No, you're thinking of Event Horizon.
No. In the chat, let me know if they did Hellraiser, the actual Hellraiser, in space. I'm sure they did.
But in space, no one can hear you scream.
Well, they don't care. They just want to stab you with pins.
Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, so I thought this had a kind of Hellraiser-y vibe to it. And it is a health box. And the idea of this is that you approach it and the top spins and the sides pop out and it dispenses health. So it's a treat buffet, full health perhaps, a musical carousel treat box. But did you know, it can also turn into a beastie. So it's a mimic. And
is that the name of the box? Lemon Chand.
Oh, yeah, that's it. It's called Lemmer Chand's box, lament configuration.
Yeah, and they did one in space, says Stephanie.
Oh, boy.
I bet that was great.
I bet that was really very...
Mad Catter also says so.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so this is a mimic, and a mimic, of course, is an item in a game that looks to be one thing but turns out to be another. Now, we talked about our favorite mimics last week.
Yeah.
I mentioned some of mine from Zelda. I couldn't remember the names of them, but our friendly chat audience knew a few more than I did. I'm getting old. I'm losing my memory. I think that this is it's a cool concept. And I actually think that this style, compared to some of the other item art that we've seen recently, fits the game much better, the style of the game.
Yep.
So Alex did another variation on this, because I'd said to him, this is really cool, but one of the things I'm concerned about is if we did make a physical item out of this, and I'd love to make a physical item out of this, is to... see how this would be shipped without getting damaged. Because we do know that things, when we ship them, get broken.
That would need some severe packing up top.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that, he said, well, it would be cool, though. I mean, how awesome would it be if we actually made them to scale? Like, look how big that is. So if you could imagine that box arriving at your house, and it's like literally the size of a laundry basket. What if we did that as like a mimic laundry basket concept, or a trash can, and then if you open it the wrong way, it spews all your trash out on the floor. I'd pay money for that.
Or it does what happens in the other image Alex sent, if you open the box wrongly.
Well, so then he's done a variation, and because I had said to him, well, maybe we would remove this element in shipping, and then that made his brain tweak to the idea that maybe that element is actually meant to be removed. It's a key.
Ooh.
See how this back and forth process works, how creativity works. I say to him, I'm concerned about shipping and it being broken. And then he turns around and says, well, if I took that out of there, it could be a key. And then the key is something that perhaps Alice collects keys, and she goes around and she pops them into the boxes. Music plays. What's it going to be? Is it going to be a treat? Am I going to get a spike in the face? I can't tell you how much joy this sort of... I love this kind of artwork.
That is funny.
It's really good.
Like I said earlier, I love these little silly doodles that all of our artists are doing now.
They really work, though, which is, I think, interesting when you think about the dark. But again, this goes back to you have to have light with the dark. We couldn't just be presenting this. And I don't think the Alice games are meant to be viewed that way. It is a young girl. It is a flight of fantasy. There are a lot of elements of kind of silliness and wonder, obviously, in Wonderland. So I think this kind of stuff fits. I don't know. What do you guys think in the chat? Do you think that the chibi cute works for Alice, or do you think that when we do this kind of artwork, we're somehow destroying the lore? This is something that someone said recently when we did the whole onesie. Someone on Facebook said...
Were you destroying the lore?
Well, they said, you shouldn't be making this game anymore. You're losing your touch. You've clearly... Oh, I'm doing Trump. You've clearly don't know how to... Anyway, they were complaining that I had become soft. Now, actually, I wanted to go back because it's the kind of person that I am and find that chat and then just paste this in there. Be like, have we really become soft? How many spikes through your face do you need?
Maybe there's a limit. You need so many before you're not considered soft anymore. One's just not enough.
One spike through the face.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Have to be both eyes and the mouth.
But I always find it interesting that, people sort of flip back and forth. I see these in the comments. I see people saying to an image like this, that's too dark. And then we'll post up something like the onesie and that's just too funny and light. How dare you do that? So I think we get this back and forth, and it's not really about the property. It's just about the people who are viewing the work that we're doing. And
some people, they have a very rigid view of their Alice in their heads.
Yeah, and I think they're very vocal online about what's acceptable. Well, I'm the police warden for this here bit of property. I mean, I'm a fan. You'd better listen to me, or else I'll withdraw all support and ask all my friends to withdraw support. How dare you put Alice in a onesie? That's it. I'm done with you.
That's, I mean, you say it in your little crazy voice, but there are people out there like that.
I like Greg just said, what if she was wearing the onesie while getting face stabbed? Would that be the proper balance of light and dark? Yes, Greg, I think that a spike through the face in the onesie is basically the box cover for our game. I think that you've nailed it right there. There you go. All right, well, we have come up on contest time.
Would you look at that?
So,
10.
If you are a frequent follower of our streams, we are about to give away a prize. It is going to be patch set number 1. And in order to qualify, you do need to spam up the chat so that Nightbot knows you're there. And why don't you spam up with either your impression of the game currently being too dark or too light, too cute or too horrific.
So say cute
or dark.
Or just
right.
right.
Perfect.
Let's see.
There you go. And then we will be sending you a patch set number 1.
Patch set 1. I will get ready to jot down the name of the lucky winner.
There you go. Now, patch set number 1 is actually over on Mysterious. I feel like we still have a few of those available.
I believe so.
And so if you don't win, but you want your very own patch set, you could head over there. This patch set does have a Cheshire Cat head. I have this on my backpack.
You do. I've seen it.
And it's also got one of my favorite of the patches is this Alice Hysteria mode Alice. There you go.
And Balloon Alice. Both of them are good.
I'm not such a fan of Balloon Alice. I mean, I wouldn't stick it on my backpack, but I do have that on my laptop cover case thingy, and I've got that on my backpack. And so, yeah, I like those quite a bit. Okay. I am working on sticking 2 of the patches from the new patch set onto my new backpack, but I'm not quite there yet. Anyway, we're not giving away. We're getting ahead of ourselves. This is Embroidery patch set number 1. So...
So,
what are they saying in the chat? Are we too cute? Just right?
there's a lot of just rights.
Too dark? Perfect? Maybe a little too light? Get out, Sarah. You're not welcome here.
Baby bear's porridge.
Lucas says, I'm not one to complain. Yeah, right, Lucas. Like, you've never complained. More dark. Just right, says the Nerdy Pickle. Cute and horrifying. Is the Nerdy Pickle related to Pickle Rick, you think?
Yes, all pickles are related.
No, I don't want that to be true because I eat pickles. I don't want to eat Pickle Rick. Frank Mayberry says the next plushie needs to be the Cheshire Cat. Frank, that's not that's not what the question was. Show us your backpack, says Richard. I can't because we're sticking Lulu stuff in it. Lulu is going to Fauntlord's castle while I'm gone. Yep. And so it's being filled up with
font stuff.
How do you like taking care of Lulu?
It's all right. It's good exercise. Gets me out of the house 3 times a day.
Well, there you go.
And usually go for a walk, usually about 2 kilometers each time.
Does it help you with chatting up with the ladies?
It doesn't.
Why not?
Don't know. Maybe because I just look too grumpy when I'm walking. I don't look approachable.
You should turn that
smile more.
Frown upside down. That's what they say, Martin. I don't think that's gonna. I mean, that'll get you some ladies. I just don't. Go for it. Go for it.
That's not.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Nerdy Pickle says, I'm not related to Pickle Rick. I just my little sister made up the name because I'm a nerd. I wear glasses and I like pickles. She was like 5. Well, hey, at least your little sister didn't name you after a female genitalia wig as my little sisters did. So count yourself lucky.
Merkin.
All right, let's see what Nightbot says about who's going to win. It's LC Awesomeness. All right. Congratulations, LC Awesomeness. You have won patch set number 1. And the thing is, you need to send an email to mysterious@americanmcgee.com. Include your name, your phone number, your mailing address, and mention that you won patch set 1. How should that be formatted, Martin?
1 separate line for each element of the address.
Yes.
Name, first line, probably region, city, country, postcode, telephone.
And the thing you won.
If
you get that wrong or screw it up, we cannot guarantee your prize will go out to you. We are sending...
you don't take... when it arrives, if you're not there and it gets sent back, we're not sending it again.
That's right.
Like someone asked.
Do you hear how grumpy we are about this? We hate sending you prizes.
We do sound a bit grumpy, don't we?
It's just because we get people sending us like their name and their phone number, and that's it.
We do have to put up with a lot of stuff.
It's true.
It's fine, but we just like to be clear.
Yes.
And sometimes our clearness comes across as grumpy old men.
Well, I think it's funny because we get these emails now where people are like, oh, God, I hope I'm doing this right. And then they send like 2 emails. Okay, I may have made a mistake last time around. I'm doing it again. Anyway, it's okay. We're actually just trying to make sure you get your prize.
We are. Catalina De Luna Super Chat says, thank you for that. Can you make an Alice doll instead of a paper doll?
Well, that's an interesting question, and it's a good segue. Thank you, Catalina De Luna, for the $5 and the question, which helps us segue to paper dolls. This is a very low-resolution image that Joey apparently found on the interwebs.
Well, they only had very low-resolution cameras back in the Victorian days.
This is true. It was all like... pixel potatoes back then.
It was just 240, 360.
Ye old pixel potato. So these are ye oldie Victorian paper dolls, as in, these are called Ferris Good Sense Wastes. I don't feel like these are really paper dolls. I think these are just advertisements for...
What does it say? Good Sense Wastes.
Maybe this is not a paper doll. This is her suggestion for what Alice would wear under... Because I mentioned last week that Joey had sent along what was basically a naked Alice as the base for what was under the clothes on the paper doll, and I felt that was incredibly inappropriate. And I wrote an email to her and I said, what are you doing? Don't do this. Please don't send child porn to my inbox. And so she wrote back and said, oh, no, I didn't mean to do something bad, and that wasn't for you to share with the public. And I'm like, no shit. And so
Did
now,
she say it in a fake British accent?
No.
Okay.
Anyway, so you didn't know that she's Chinese British?
I didn't.
Yeah. Anyway, so this, I think, is her suggestion. This is her suggestion for the clothing that would be on the base of the doll, as opposed to the thing that would get us all thrown in jail. That makes sense.
Yeah. Lucas Severin, Super Chat says, just to say, they hate complaining, but sometimes you have to. You do.
Yes.
Needs doing.
This is true.
Ray Weatherford, one of our long-term super duper supporters, pops up with a super chat. Thank you very much, Ray. Well, seeing as no Swirls won, here's 25 for a Swirls print. Are you not blackmailing as we?
Bribing.
Word? Bribing.
Yeah. I thank you for the super chat, Ray. I don't know exactly how that works, but let's thank you. And yeah, I think we're not going to be able to do Swirls prints. Now, we may put the Swirls print up for sale in the Mysterious Art Shop. That makes sense. Maybe? I don't know.
Maybe.
We'll figure this out. Yeah. Timothy Mio.
Thank you for the super chat, Timothy. WRT. What's that?
With regards to...
You've gone soft. I mean, in this game, she's just a child. Going too hard on the character in terms of violence can come off as edgelord, try hard. I vote for just right so far. Great balance of gruesome and cute.
I think that's right. I think that we had this conversation with EA during the production of Madness Returns, where they did want us to push it to a hard M. They, in fact, were saying to us, hey, we'd like it to be more in the space of Dead Space. And, of course, Dead Space was pretty famous for being It's a great game, but it was also a horror game, like straight-up horror game. And I've always said that the Alice games are psychological horror, and that there is a very fine line, a distinction between a straight-up horror game and a psychological horror. And that's not to say we can't have blood and guts in our Alice games. Of course we do. But to try to push it to that next level of really all about just blood and guts horror, which was what they were asking for, I think is going a bit too far.
Was this the conversation that led to the creation of that snail?
Yeah,
image?
This is true. It did lead to that.
Such a weird image.
I don't know if that is available on the internets very easily. But yeah, there it is. This is NeoGAF. I don't like NeoGAF, by the way. I think that they're a bunch of twats, I think, as you Brits say. But anyway, there was
the pick link at the top.
There was a picture of where?
Down. It's right there. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, so when... it didn't work. So when EA was trying to push me to basically make the game more of a hard M, I sent them a picture of a snail. Is that it right there?
No.
There, it's on Kotaku. That's it. Yeah, I sent them a picture. Yeah, I mean, this has been this has been blurred out, but it gives you the basic concept that I made a snail out of a dildo and boobs, and I sent this to them. I sent this to EA, and I said, "You want M?
I'll give you M.
I'll give you M." And after that, they left me alone. So yeah, I don't really want to make Alice that kind of hard M just for the sake of being an M. Yeah. Anyway, I'm glad that most of you, though, think we are walking that line appropriately at this point.
Seems so.
It is
so far.
Yeah. So back to not that. Where was I going here? Oh, geez, Rick.
Wrong way.
I always do this. I try to set it up, but then I just... Okay, here we go. So this is what Joey sent along actually last night. This is paper cutout dolls of Alice.
Joey also seems to have a fantastic color printer.
I think she's got an okay... No, she said she went to the print shop for this.
Right.
She went to the print shop, and then she also said in her email that the thickness of the paper they had on hand was not what she'd hoped for. So she said you can see this is kind of bending up a bit at the edges there.
Right.
Yeah. So this is, though, the idea she's working on for these paper cutout dolls. Now, I think one of the things that she said was perhaps these would be a future sort of mini Patron goal.
Yes.
We could do that. We could do these as something you get, obviously, serious shop. They could be, I think this would be the kind of thing like I could imagine we would do for quite a low level of Patreon support. And then when we hit some number. But I saw someone on Instagram say, well, how are you going to ship them without them getting damaged?
It's a good point, actually.
And I said, we're going to send them in steel reinforced concrete blocks. I just don't know how you're going to get them out of there. Good luck. And so.
I do think some form of protection would be needed, though, beyond what we normally do for this particular item.
I mean, one of the other questions is, would our patrons accept these as digital things that they then download and cut out? Or because I mean, what I would like to do is actually send these to a factory that makes them in the proper paper stock and then does this cutting for us, for the customers. So what you get in the mail is a packet of these pre-cut, as you see here, but of course it would be laser cut, so the space, this white space inside of her arms, all this would be done exactly as you'd want it to be done. And that's, I think, the value in it, as opposed to just being able to print them on your own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if they were cut out like that, then the box wouldn't need to be as wide and prone to bending. It could be a shorter, stockier box, which would hopefully
that's true
be a bit more sturdy.
Right, because we could stack these in there on top of themselves,
yeah.
And that makes sense as well. So yeah, we are working on this concept. Joey's working on this. Do leave your thoughts in the comments below as to how you think we might best present these. Obviously, this would be something that we would start working on when we come back after Chinese New Year. And, should we just release them as files and you guys can do your own stuff? Maybe we would do that anyway. But then we also have an option where you can get them laser cut and in a final form from us for the collectors and the people who want the sort of done and they don't have to mess around with it. That might be cool.
Greg's saying that she looks snarky.
She has a very snarky pose about her. I said to Joey I was concerned that pose was a bit too cute. I don't know how to say that exactly.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
It's not cute as such, but maybe it's a little modern.
I don't know if I'd call that. It's okay. Sassy. Maybe sassy's the word I'm going for.
Sassy is. Was there sass in Victorian times?
Ye old sass. But I guess and I hate when we have to deal with this topic. But I mean, there's something about sort of, and you guys in the chat, the girls in the chat especially, you tell me, is there something about this particular pose, this sort of wrist on hip thrust kind of, it looks a bit sexy, and I worry about that. So I'd be curious again. Obviously, I'm not a female, but I would be concerned that we might be over sexualizing her here.
Maybe she could have different poses. A sassy one, a sort of a scared of the dark one.
I think here's a question. If you saw your 13-year-old daughter posing like that in front of you, and I mean...
and said, "Get bent, governor.
Get bent, governor. You're not my real father."
Why do you always go into Terrence and Phillips when you do that?
This is not my specialty. I've never claimed to be a voice actor. We hire voice actors. Yeah. So yeah, that's what she's working on right now. I think she's taken inspiration from a couple of these existing paper cutout sort of sets. So, here you have a grown-ass woman in a grown-ass woman's pose. This is the Yves Saint Laurent fashion set. So she's got her base model there, and then you've got these various dresses that you can pop onto her. And there's Vivian Lee. So in full color, she's got all of her little costumes, different movies and outfits. My Fair Lady, I think, must be one of these. And then antique fashion paper dolls of the 1890s.
Wow.
This is from the Boston Children's Museum.
Look at that one playing tennis.
But it's like a spacesuit. I mean, this was her underwear, right? This is the dress. And I mean, you see people now, girls running around Shanghai, who are basically wearing this outside. I mean, that would not be appropriate at all. This was their concept of nighties, of naughty nighty wear.
Well, thank God you can't see her ankles.
Well, I mean, we'd have to stop the stream right now.
Would you lose it?
I would lose it if I saw her ankles. Not even a hint of ankles there. No, there's just nothing at all. Anyway,
thank God. We're not going to get demonetized.
Can you imagine going out and trying to play tennis in this?
I can't. Well, maybe I can, actually. I've got a good imagination.
Crazy.
It'd be a bit crazy.
Yeah. Well, so this is the thing that she's essentially saying we could create. Yeah, she's done up a couple of these, cut them out. That's the base model. That's her in the ash dress. I think that's pretty cool.
It is good.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And
Joey's a fantastic artist, isn't she?
She is. Yeah, she's having a lot of fun with this stuff, you can tell. I'm really loving the dynamic between her and Omri and Alex. You know, they're throwing ideas back and forth against each other as well. And it's pretty cool to see when they kind of riff off of each other's ideas. Yeah, really good.
Yep, it certainly is.
It is.
They're still talking about the pose in the chat. It's gone on for a while now.
Well, what's the...
It's a bit
suggestive. What are they saying?
Quite a mixture.
Yeah.
There's no one thing that's outright winning. Some people say, yes, it's a little too sassy. Some people think it's fine.
Right.
Some people think it's a little provocative.
Salty. Sassy or salty. Not really anything sexy. Well, that's good to know. And I think, I'd like to get that sort of feedback from all of you, and then that helps us to guide Joey and the artists on what is and is not appropriate. So, leave the comments down below and write the comments here, and then those guys will watch the stream and they can take some feedback directly from you, the fans. I do believe we're coming up almost to the end of art review. Do we have anything? That's about it. It's getting pretty quiet.
Is that logo?
There is this logo, and this is going to segue neatly into our next section of today's. Today we're going to do comment review.
Yeah, got some good comments.
If we were PewDiePie, we would comment review, and that's what's coming up next.
Is that what he does?
He does meme review.
Oh,
yeah, meme review is excellent. If you like
memes,
if you like meme review, smash like. Don't do it.
Did you see the latest meme doing the rounds? The oh yeah on YouTube.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, that confused the hell out of me.
I'm sure.
Seeing everyone with the same image.
It is. It's very, very confusing. But back to this. This is a concept that I came up with for our Thailand studio. Now, again, for those of you who have been following along, you'll know that we've been talking about building a new studio in Thailand. And in that studio, that's where we would build the new Alice game. Now, this is necessary because game development here in China now has become, it's not just on par with, but in many cases, it's actually more expensive than game development elsewhere in the world. Now, obviously, when we came here 15 years ago, that was not the case. Game development in China was still in its nascent form, and there was a lot of requirement for foreigners with experience to come in and help them to shape up the industry. But it's got to the point now where they don't need us anymore. They actually want us to get out. So
they don't need us anymore.
No, our time here is finished. Get out. Now, we may very likely still use resources in China. But as far as the base studio, the creative hub for the new game goes, it is my thought that we locate that, if not in Thailand, but at least maybe Western China or somewhere further afield, because Shanghai is now incredibly expensive. So we are looking at places throughout Asia. There have been people who've recommended the Philippines. As I said, we are looking at Western China. And then, of course, there is Thailand. I'm a big fan of Thailand. So we showed in a recent stream that I went off to Thailand and we met with the government. We met with local game developers and outsourcers, and we looked at potential spaces for this studio. Well, this is something that Alex came up with as we did a kind of back and forth around the idea of a game development studio, which is actually set up in a way that you, the fans, could come for a visit. Right.
Ooh, look who's here. Look who popped up.
No, not
Super
these
chat.
horrible trolls.
Sailing Follow the Boat.
There you
10
go.
quid.
10 quid
10
from Sailing
quid.
Follow the Boat. Whatever you do, don't follow the boat. You just don't do it.
So is this saying that Liz woke up
This
from a
is
nightmare,
Liz.
or Liz is saying that
This
she
is
woke up
Liz.
from a
She-
nightmare?
She is in the UK right now. She has jet lag because she's just recently traveled
Stupid
from
o'clock
Thailand.
in England.
But if you do like following the sailing adventures of two Brits and a cat, you should go check out Sailing Follow the Boat. They are on Patreon. They are on YouTube. And Liz is currently back in the UK while Jamie is over in Thailand. I will be seeing Jamie tonight, and I'm going to spend your 10 quid on beer and pizza with him. So thank you, Liz, for that.
Yep, but apparently the sound of your droning voice is sending her back to sleep after the nightmare, so...
Well, then she's just going to go right back into more nightmares. Have fun, Liz.
Apparently. Stitching Witch is also here with a super chat. Thank you. My 14-year-old says the pose is sassy, not sexy.
That's good to know. Thank you for that, Stitch and Witch.
Are we going for sassy?
Sassy's okay. All right. So this is Wonder Lair, and Wonder Lair, again, it would be a concept where, yes, we have our creative hub, our game development studio there in Thailand, but we also set it up in a way that you, the fans, could come to visit. And in order to make that appealing and interesting, there might be some themed elements to it. Perhaps the little bungalows where you stay have a Wonderland theme to them. Perhaps there's a Cheshire Cat forest that you can go traipse through or take cosplay photography inside of. Anyway, it's just an idea. And it may or may not happen. But one of the things that I've been told by the people who we're talking to about financing is they like crazy ideas. They don't want to just be pitched on a game concept, game development. They actually like physical merchandise linked up to the game. They like the idea that we might develop a TV show or a film to go along with the game. So they want what we would have called 20 years ago transmedia or cross-media.
That sounds good. Transmedia.
Not like transsexual media, but just...
No, like futuristic media.
Yes, exactly. So the concept where we have a studio that actually also serves as a sort of, it's a gift shop, right? It's a place you can come, you can grab merchandise, you can stay in a Cheshire Cat bungalow, and you could have tea with Martin. Anyway, so I put that up on Facebook, and I think the response was 99% positive.
But with some people, not so much.
Not so much, but we'll get to those in just a moment.
Ice Killer, thank you for the super chat. If we were to start a game studio of our own with our friends and whatnot, what are the most important things we should know?
I think Ice Killer's asking for advice on starting a game studio.
Sounds it.
Don't do it with your own money.
Okay.
Yeah, that's point number one. Find investors and spend someone else's money. That's always important.
Is it also not as fun as it sounds? Got to deal with taxes and laws and
it's
stuff.
Also nowhere near as fun as it sounds. And I have to tell you, I am really uncertain as to why I'm going down this road again. It's like something.
Fans.
Well, I think I am. This is my business. I've been doing games now for 25 years, and I enjoy many aspects of making games, the storytelling, the art, the interaction with the fans. But a lot of times you get to a point where in order to make the game that you want to make, you have to have your own studio. But having your own studio, Ice Killer, is a big pain in the butt.
So there you go. Don't do it.
I mean, I would be really careful going into it. Yeah, so I would be really careful going into it.
There was lots of talk of people not knowing what that logo was.
Well, so that logo, it is a concept called, this isn't going to work because someone's already got this name, but Alex came up with the name Wonder Lair, as in a lair, like the wolf's lair.
Wonder.
But it's a lair of wonder. And obviously it's my Wonder Lair. And it's got this rabbit. This is a rabbit's head in it, and it's got this castle, as in kind of the Disney theme parky. So it's supposed to sort of tie together all the elements.
Not a big fan of the castle aspect of this image.
Yeah, I'm not, completely sold on this as a logo. Obviously, we wouldn't be able to use Wonder Lair because someone already owns that. If we were to try to incorporate that castle into it, I'm almost certain that Disney would come and sue our pants off.
Wonder Hole is available.
Get bent, governor.
American McGee's Wonder Hole.
Get bent.
Get Bent Studios.
Get bent. Hey, now that's a good one. So this is interesting because as I posted this up on Facebook, well, then we suddenly started getting, as of yesterday, this morning, whatever, there started to be articles that started popping up about the fact that we're making a new game and that we're talking about a new studio. And so I was going through these comments with Martin this morning, and there's some pretty funny stuff in here. So I thought we would do a really quick comment review. Let's do. So I do appreciate Michael here saying that we're not being secretive about this at all. And you can help out by going over to Patreon or following my Facebook page. This is true. Thank you, Michael, for being kind. I like this comment. We see this a lot. It took me a while to accept that his birth name is, in fact, American. Yes, this is very true.
What's the reply?
I don't know. Let's see here. Someone says, I read an interview that his mom was a super hippie and everything else made sense after that. That's all right.
Seems factual.
Right. What about this one, though, Martin?
Who are we looking at? Ryan? Is that the one? Oh, well, I don't doubt it'll be an interesting game when he's beaten Allison to the ground. He needs to do the Wizard of Oz in his style, in my opinion.
There you go. Well, we've beaten Allison into the ground, apparently.
Allison.
I like this one, though. Chad says, why, though? Why cancel the incredible Alice Madness in Tokyo and replace it with a prequel? I'd rather have played that.
Yeah, why did you cancel Alice in Tokyo?
I don't know. I didn't even know we were working on Alice in Tokyo, but that sounds like drugs.
Do you think he probably just saw a screenshot of the level in Madness Returns and that's it?
I'm not really sure, but I actually like Tokyo a lot, so I think that sounds like a lot of fun. Marlon here apparently has been burnt by promises in the past, and so here we go again with these promises. Oh, shed a tear, Marlon.
Who hurt you?
Who hurt you, Marlon? You're gonna be okay. So yeah, there are, these are okay. There's a lot of people pretty excited about this, and people making good comments like we hope we get a decent budget.
We need a good budget.
Yeah. So I thought,
how about fixing the PC version of the last one?
Yeah, damn it. What's wrong with you guys before you start working on a new one? So, fair enough. That's all good. And then, though, we go over to the original article on PC Gamer. Now, I have to say, people on PC Gamer are a little more grumpy.
Are they?
They're just a little more grumpy. We had a couple that started it off okay. It's pretty cool, says Sty. It's all right. We hope this gets funded.
We've got an F, yeah. An
F, yeah, is good, And this is a fair enough question. So is EA going to publish the game, or is McGee Spicy Horse going to publish it? So this has come up, and I think I've explained before. EA obviously would like to have it, or will have it, on their Origin platform, but it's not going to be stuck there. It's not exclusive to their platform. So we would be licensing from EA, and then we would publish it on our own. We fund it on our own, we develop it on our own, and we publish it on our own. So that's good.
Yeah.
No worries there, Dimitri.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. Oh.
Screw Alice. Get bent. First part was okay. Second was long and boring like hell. I want to see Scrapland 2. It was damn creative and fun.
Well, Sirky? Okay, Sirky. Your word is our command. It's possible that nothing comes of this, says Sphinx. He's only talking to EA about licensing. That's true.
Yeah, they seem clued up.
Yeah. Still wants Madness Returns on good old game. That's fine. That's not up to us. Bad Day LA 2 win. I like that comment.
After Asylum.
After Asylum. I would love to make Bad Day LA 2, though. I thought that was a really fun game.
Is there another city you could use that rhymes?
Tokyo.
With day.
Yeah.
Bad Day. Can't think of a city off the top of my head.
Yeah, Bad Day Tokyo would be all right. We could do Bad Day Shanghai.
Though.
Well. So Hyperbole Joe, living up to his name, American McGee is a good salesman. That's about the extent of his abilities.
Oh, no.
Wow, interesting. Now, I really like comments like this. These are my favorites. This guy's Joanne saying, yeah, his Quake stuff was nice. The first Alice was okay. And, of course, the next Alice, I mean, the Scrapland, I mean, all these. But, everything else was just garbage. Screw that guy. But, I always get concerned when we see this. Too bad EA is still in control. And that's not true. EA is not in control.
You could join the discussion now.
No, I don't comment over here. If you do that, they just dogpile on you. They get really angry. Yeah.
Oh, look at Timothy. He's got it. Bad day, Pompeii.
That would be a truly bad day.
You could run around being all Roman and stuff.
That would be good. Oh, bad day Bombay would be good.
Bad day Bombay.
I like that.
With racism.
That's a good one. I really like that.
I'm sure there would be cries of that for no good reason.
Yeah, well. So
it's good. I like that one.
That's a really good one. Thank you for that. Bad day Pompeii, though, Timothy. That's a good one.
Bad day Bombay.
So let's just continue comment review really quick. This is more of the same. I liked the first one, not the second one. Anyway, that guy can burn in hell. I liked these. McGee wants a bed and breakfast based Alice theme park. Good luck with that. Well, I mean, why not? Who doesn't want that? We all want that. And it's over, dude. Drop it.
Okay.
Okay.
You heard it here first, everyone.
What do you say? Cancelled. What do you say, Steve? Let's just give up. Let's just not do things anymore. So, more of that. I loved the Alice games, but McGee has been out of the game, as it were, for a while. Hopefully he hasn't lost his touch. Well, I have. I've become too soft. Now, this one also always gets me. And hopefully they dispense with putting his name in the title. Who cares? Anyway, we didn't put my name in the title in the second one. It's pretentious and dismissive of the other developers who work on the game.
Well, they clearly don't know the story.
They don't know the story. But I mean, I am just well, you can just tell people I'm just absolutely pretentious and horrible.
It's true.
It's true. Absolutely terrible. Speaking of, let's give away some prizes to our lovely fans.
Patch set
2. Now, this has got the White Rabbit art print on the back in full glorious A4 format. But don't look at Martin. This is all about me and the rabbit. Anyway, what are they going to spam the chat with?
I don't know. I was just looking at what Ray Weatherford super chatted.
Okay.
A Shanghai.
That's interesting. Well, you understand that Shanghaiing somebody means to kidnap them.
Yes.
Okay, so he's maybe suggesting that you would be Shanghaied in Shanghai.
Shanghai.
In Chinese, to Shanghai somebody means to harm them, hurt them emotionally. So if you say ni Shanghai wo, this is to say you really damaged me emotionally, you broke my heart, as these comments do.
Do they break your heart?
They break my heart. I feel
it's because you're so soft now. That's why they break
soft,
your heart.
Yeah. Oh boy. Anyway, spam up the comments so we can give away another patch set number 2.
With what? What are they going to spam?
You have to do this one.
Oh, how soft is American?
Well, they wouldn't know that. You're here. You're touching my leg.
Equate it to something in the real world, like a marshmallow or an ice cream or a pillow. How soft is he?
Yeah, I don't know.
And then some lucky person. Actually, Elsie didn't even reply for the first.
Ooh.
Elsie might not have even known that they won.
Elsie may not even be a person. She's apparently a bird.
Not a female, but an actual parakeet. Looking at the image.
Yeah, could be. I mean, I think there are animal kind out there who watch our streams. They're here for Lulu.
Lulu's not been on the stream in a while.
She's sleeping over there.
It's too cold here. She gets under the covers.
As soon as the winter comes, Lulu goes into hibernation mode.
Ooh, someone says you're as soft as supple leather.
Wow, let's give that person the
Tofu
prize.
SpongeBob.
Yeah. I'm as soft as tofu SpongeBob. All right.
A squishy, snuggle laundry soft. That sounds nice.
Yeah, I like that. That sounds very good. I do miss having my clothes be snuggle laundry soft from when they come out of the wash. Because in China, we don't really have dryers. Everything gets like dried on a line. So all of our clothes are all crunchy. And they're not all fluffy and smell nice like that. It's a really sad thing. I'd have to say, we did get asked that question last week. What do you miss about life outside of China. Did I say that last week? Gas
The
dryers?
question was what food?
I like to eat a gas dryer. I really do. Alrighty.
There you go.
Here we go. We are going to press the button.
Roll it.
Alice Hanshra.
Alice Hanshra.
Congratulations, Alice Hanshra, on winning a patch set number 2. You do need to email us, mysterious@americanmcgee.com. Include your name, your phone number, your shipping address, and say that you won patch set number 2. And make sure to do all that in a format which makes it very easy for us to put all that into the shipping system and send you your prize.
Please do.
I think Alice Hanshra is also fake. Maybe this is all just a giant simulation.
Maybe.
Oh, yay, I won. Okay.
Woo!
So back to comment review.
That's a big one.
This is a big one. This guy really, he's got it out for us. He's
Taco.
Yeah, well, so he says EA got badly from the last experience with American with Alice 2, and even Alice 1 was a big disappointment sales-wise. Well, it's interesting. Why would they have done Alice 2 if Alice 1 was such a big disappointment? That's a good, got your noggin jogging there.
Yeah, Paco Taco.
Yeah.
What did you think of that?
So I think that I'm just a big failure, according to Paco Taco, and American needs to prove himself as someone that can make a game that makes money. He hasn't done that in a long time. All his designs failed after Alice 2 to the point where he closed his studio.
So you need to prove yourself.
But you can't make a new game.
Make a new game and prove yourself.
Oh, man. The internal contradictions in the frustrated comment here, I don't know where to take this. So Paco Taco, do let us know how I'm supposed to prove myself if I'm not allowed to. But the last part, the closing bit, he hasn't been getting better over the last 12 years, just older, burning through the money that he socked away from Alice.
Is that where you got it? In socks under your mattress?
And other overhyped failures. I'm sure he would love to ride the money fountain. How does that work? How does one ride a money fountain? One last time.
Maybe it's like a log flume. It's not so much a fountain.
But no one cares except for the 20,000 people that signed up for his spam email and buy junk from the store.
Joke's on you, Paco. It's 40,000 people.
Oh, man. Well, I'd like Paco to know, and this is true, when I moved to Shanghai, I came here with $0 to my name. I was so poor, in fact, that I used to ride into work on the back of someone else's bicycle. I mean, when I was young, I made tremendous amounts of money, and then as a young person with no financial skills at all, I spent it all on all kinds of really stupid stuff. $500 for a pair of jeans and ridiculous amounts of dollars for fast cars. And anyway, I found myself upon my arrival in China basically starting over. And I started a game studio. That studio ran for 10 years. It employed hundreds of people. It made lots of money. It also lost money. This is what businesses do. We made over 10 separate games, some of which were big successes, some of which were not. That is life. But the money fountain... boy, I don't know about the money fountain. You let me know where I can find that, because
Omri can do as an image. He'll Photoshop you in a log flume, but it's got dollar bills flying out of it and stuff.
Yeah.
Or some Scrooge McDuck swimming in a vault type thing.
It is strange, though. People they build up very strange sort of images of who you are, and I'm always very curious to read those kinds of comments, because it paints a picture of me as an individual that is so far removed from who I am that I really wish I knew and understood how those things come about.
People in the chat seem to like this segment of the live stream, though. Us calling out internet people live.
Yeah. Anyway, I read these kind of comments and they make me laugh, and so I thought you might enjoy them as well. Anyway, why don't we do something a little different?
Are we done with comments?
Maybe. Let's go over and say hello to our lovely, lovely friends, Deborah and
Andrew
at
Freaky Fandoms.
I'm trying to get you to segue into it.
You just forgot his name.
No, I wouldn't forget Andrew's name. So Deborah and Andrew over at Freaky Fandoms. This week they are talking about Kingdom Hearts. Now, there is a new Kingdom Hearts out in the world.
They were talking about it before the live stream in the chat.
Yes.
People are already bigging it up. We've never played it.
Yeah, we're not really the biggest Kingdom Hearts fans, though I do recall at one point there was a variation of Kingdom Hearts that had Disney characters in it the first time that they had done that, and there were images related to Alice that I remember getting a flurry of emails of people saying, look, they've stolen your Alice and put it into Kingdom Hearts. And I had to write back and say, even if they did, that's Disney. I don't want to get, you don't go fight with Disney. No one chooses that. But so Deborah and Andrew do write this week to say that their podcast is on the subject of Kingdom Hearts, the fandom, and all kinds of things related to this game and everything around it. So she's playing it right now. Deborah is. And so the episode that they're going to put out is going to be later this week. And they're going to be, sort of talking about their reactions to and views on the latest version. Now, why were you not a fan of this kind of game?
I'm not saying I wasn't a fan. It's just I never got round to it.
I mean,
I hear that they've all been fantastically great fun, and they do look fun.
Right.
But I just never got round to it. I mean, maybe I will with number 3. I assume you don't need to have had to play the others to get into it. Maybe you do to appreciate it more. But
I feel like these are those kind of games, though, that they've got such a deep lore and the story and the backstory and the whole thing that, you have to have played the other ones in order to play these. But, so anyway, these are our biggest sponsors. Their names, Martin thinks I'm forgetting constantly, but I'm not. It's actually written on the screen here, but it's Andrew and Deborah. And they are over at Freaky Fandoms. Now, you can hit their link in the description below. You can check them out on Patreon. They also wanted me to let you know that they are on SoundCloud. And they sent a list of the other places where they are, but I've misplaced the list.
It's not on that.
Oh, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube.
They're everywhere.
They are everywhere. They're in more places than we are. We're not even on Spotify and SoundCloud. And how do you even get there?
Maybe we should be uploading the design discussions to Spotify and SoundCloud.
I don't know. Well, so, as usual, these guys are our biggest sponsors, and we do appreciate that. They have been sponsors for many, many years across many of our projects, and it is much appreciated. So if you want to help support us, you can do so indirectly by supporting them, and then they'll turn around and support us, and it's like supportception.
Yeah, so please head on over, have a listen to this and many of the other podcasts that they've done.
There you go. Thank you very much, Freaky Fandoms, for being a freaky fandom freakiness. I don't know how to be a good a good advertiser.
You know what we should do? We should pre-record some sort of skit, do it professionally, and then we'll just click to a different OBS window and let it play for a minute. Yeah,
that's not as much fun. People want that stuff live.
We had some super chats.
All right, well, let's go back to some super chats and then...
Chaussette, thank you for the super chat. Money fountain. I think more like a money tree, like in The Sims. Do you play The Sims?
I did. I actually worked on The Sims.
Ooh.
Until they told me I couldn't anymore.
Why? What did you do wrong?
You know how they pee on themselves when you leave them alone for too long?
Right.
That was my idea. And I had many ideas like that, including what happens if we could maybe put a burglar in the game that breaks into the house and then murders your, Sim's partner while your other Sim is off at work and stuff like that. And after a while, there was a group of people in the room who said, right, can you not come to the meetings anymore? So, yeah, I got kicked out of there.
Unknown story nugget there.
Really? I thought I'd mentioned that before.
I did not know that one.
So when I left or was fired from, let's be really clear here, I was fired for being just a total garbage person. I was fired from id, and then I went to Maxis, which was at that point had just been acquired by EA. I was working with Will Wright, the creator of The Sims and all the Sim type games, Sim Ant and Sim City, and anyway, they were in the process of working on The Sims at that point, and they were also doing something called Sim Mars. And when I would go into the Sim Mars meetings, my suggestion was that based on this mechanic where you had to fly the astronauts that had been brought to Mars back to Earth within some period of time before their bodies became too acclimated, I said, well, why don't we just, we do have like a backhoe, like a thing to dig holes, yes. And you can just go some distance. How far away from the base can you go? Well, you can go as far as you have oxygen. Okay. So why don't I just take them out there and dig a hole and put them in it and then cover them up and then drive back to the base? And again, they were like, yeah, so could you not come to the meetings anymore?
You're going to put Martian astronauts in shallow graves.
I mean, you know, the funny thing was I'd go to lunch with Will and he'd be like, well, technically that would work.
Darker Crimson super chats. Thank you. Please don't dawdle, American.
Okay.
Are you dawdling? What did you dawdle with recently?
I'm not really sure I'm dawdling, but yeah.
If you want to elaborate, I'll keep an eye out for it in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't.
So back to mean comment review, since apparently people like this segment. I don't know.
It's good.
So this person is saying, yeah, hopefully dispense with putting the name in the title. It's pretentious and it's dismissive. Well, I'm just going to dismiss this comment altogether. Anyway,
put your name in the title twice.
I do like this comment, though. That's the main selling point, that name. Who doesn't like America? An American is perfectly named to sell work based on a British IP while living in China. Ha-ha!
There you go.
There you go. I like that. Yeah, there's a bit of anger around Oz, and I find comments like this to be weird because it is kind of misinformation. So remember how McGee was going to do Oz, and it was in development hell for years. I don't remember it ever being in development hell. I know I would like to make an Oz game. We did do, the first one was in San Francisco with a company called Ronin Interactive, and it was funded by Atari. And that development lasted, and it wasn't hell, but it lasted for about a year, maybe 9 months. And then Atari went bankrupt and the thing was shut down. But there was no hell involved in any of that. We actually had a demo up and running on the original Xbox.
Wow.
I think you can find that on YouTube somewhere, and it looked pretty cool. And that was how I met Ken Wong. Ken Wong, who then later went on and was the art director for Alice Madness Returns, because Ken I put to work doing character art for Oz. So in some sense, like, even though that project failed, it led to the place where we were able to have Ken as an art director on Alice Madness Returns. And that then led to Ken being able to release Monument Valley and all the other amazing things that he's done.
And make $1 million.
Yeah, so, you know, a lot of times when I read comments like this, it's like, you know, you're being very limited in your view of what comes out of what appears to be failure if all you do is focus on the failure. The reality is that the failure of that project then segued into lots of other things, and I don't know that it was necessarily a failure if you count all of the branches that then came off of it from there. But we may someday go back to and try to do another Oz. It's just tough because it has struggled. It struggled on Kickstarter. We ran a Kickstarter for it, and that didn't fly, and so we stepped away from it. And I said after that I wasn't going to try anymore, but
I want to try and find that Xbox demo of Oz that you mentioned on YouTube. Have a look at it. I'll do that later. Now,
this one I thought was interesting. The thing I really disliked about Alice Madness Returns was all the puzzles. I don't mind some puzzles in a game, but the fact that the entire game was 90% puzzles and 10% story really annoyed me. I feel like he must have played a different game.
Maybe he was playing The Witness.
Do you recall 90% puzzles?
Not that high.
In
Probably
fact,
not even 50% puzzles.
I don't even know that we had, like, in the entire game, there may have been 10 things you could have called a puzzle. I don't know that we had so many puzzles. It was a platformer action game with a few puzzles sprinkled in here and there.
Well, Witcher on the prowl, clearly spending too much time playing The Witcher.
I suppose, but apparently the game was... Alice Madness Returns ruined the concept.
Oh, no.
The puzzles really slowed down the game and the fun and became boring and tedious. The cloned enemies the devs throw at you didn't help either. Now, this is another point I would like to... I seem to recall that on every stage that you went to, we introduced new sets of enemies.
Apparently not.
Apparently not. Anyway, he wants us to know that Alice Madness Returns is one of the worst games ever made.
Wow.
And the first game was better, even though it had horrible graphics.
Well, there you go. You heard it here first.
Oh, boy.
Worst game ever.
It was the worst game ever. I really feel very proud. I thought Bad Day LA was the worst game ever.
It's down there, isn't it?
Well, Bad Day LA actually won worst game of the year. I won that award. I won a game of the year for the first Alice, and I won worst game of the year for Bad Day LA. I think that's an accomplishment.
I think it is. That should be a general knowledge question, a pub quiz.
It should be.
There was one before that. Scroll up. Stitchin' Witch, thank you for the super chat. Just wants to say, Miss American McGee is beautiful.
Aw,
congrats on your marriage.
That's very kind of you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It was a very official ceremony. It wasn't a proper wedding. It was just to get our license, but that was necessary for some of the things that are going on in our life right now. So, yeah.
And someone else super chatted. Where is it? Alice on Elm Street. A Sims game entirely in Wonderland.
Now, I think that did not The Sims do a content set of items based on Alice? I'm pretty sure that they did. I think you could actually have some sort of Alice content in The Sims. I'm pretty sure about that. And I remember signing some sort of document that allowed EA permission to do that. So, and we even got some sort of royalty stream. That was that fountain of money, you know.
That'll be it.
That's it.
Royalty stream from The Sims.
Do you know what those checks come out to? Every 6 months, we'll get a check from EA for like $100 for the like microtransaction or merchandise type stuff. Like it's $100,
and it all just goes on blackjack and hookers.
It all does go to blackjack and hookers. We really, but this is why we're in Asia, because the hookers are just a lot cheaper out here. Right. So we're gonna get back to. I think that was it for mean comment review. Let's go.
There was only. I thought there was 3 web pages. Oh no, I guess there was the Facebook one, wasn't there? And then there was PC Gamer.
That was
and
it.
Then Blues.
That was
Doodah.
it. They're actually pretty okay.
Right.
I mean, I see much worse of these kind of things sometimes. These were probably pretty okay, but
people can be mean on the internet.
They can.
I've discovered.
But I think the main point of contention that I often have with these sorts of comment threads is that people do get things all out of whack. They will say things like, "Oh, EA is going to screw this up," and you want to say to them, "Look, EA is not going to have anything to do with this, so." You don't need to worry about that. But it's fine. And I also think that, there's concern of sort of how we're doing this, and that concern is valid. It's warranted, because this is going to be quite a long process. We are very much in the process of trying to get this new game made, and that does require a bunch of kind of complicated steps. We could look at this thingy really quick. I don't know if this is going to work, though. Did you set this up to work?
No.
Uh-oh. Well, then it's not going to work. What are you doing over there, Font Lord?
It might work. Just go to video review and change where it's pointing at.
This?
Maybe.
Oh, man. People aren't going to be happy about that.
You will.
So what we're going to look at really quick is the PowerPoint that we're working on for the new studio. That's not working.
Apparently it did not.
No. Well, so there is this PowerPoint we're working on for the new studio. You're going to look at a black screen while I set up the source for this. And that PowerPoint is... Where is it? There it is. Okay. Wow, look at that. That's amazing.
Is it too zoomed in?
No, it just doesn't want to work. Nope. Sorry, Martin. All right, guys. Well, anyway, we'll show this next time when I come back from vacation. But there is this big PowerPoint we're working on. This is going in front of the potential financiers. And it includes all of the strategy we have for merchandise, for the game, for all kinds of great stuff. So, yeah.
Lucas Severing is super chatting to ask how cheap the ladies of the night are in China.
I wouldn't know. I'm
married.
married.
No.
I'm married.
How dare you insinuate such a thing, Lucas?
I'm married, and I've been, in a happy relationship for many, many years. So who knows? We do not know that kind of thing.
Google it.
Yeah, I think you can Google that. Yeah. So anyway, when I come back from our trip, that PowerPoint will actually be finished, and it'll be filled with imagery, and we will share that with you guys. So let's move on to questions and comments.
It wasn't a lot. because there was only one post since last week, and we've actually covered most of it, because most of the comments were about swirl or no swirl.
Swirl to swirl or not to swirl?
We have already determined is, in fact, no swirl.
All right.
But let's have a look at the comments any old how. Steffi Lynn would like the swirls more if they were a little more transparent. They would be more appealing.
Okay.
Sarah Heist suggests, I don't know what this bit's for. Oh, this is for the Wonder Lair theme park type idea. Make animatronic tentacles that kidnap patrons and shoot tentacle goo on them.
Yeah, that sounds like a fantastic place to visit that no one would get injured or sue us for. That sounds good.
Covered in tentacle goo.
That sounds really great. Let's do that.
Good one, Sarah. Morgan Meeks. I think the swirls take away from the dark aspect. Burning embers would be better, in my opinion. Well, Morgan, there will be no swirls.
There will be no swirls. Although I do think we should consider whether or not we could do the do it on the shop. Like
We'll throw it up on the shop.
It could be a mini version on the shop with the swirls for those who are really desperate. They're bent to get swirls in their life.
Yes. Amy Elizabeth loves the magic swirls, makes it look unique. Eric Hansen asks, is it possible to choose which art print to get at the $75 tier on Patreon? Or do I have to do the $35 tier to choose? Well, Eric, you are correct. It is only the $35 tier, 3 times 35, that allows you to choose the art prints. The $75 tier, it's just the print of the month. And they're all usually awesome. So I don't think we've ever had any complaints.
I don't think so, unless they get squished in delivery.
Complaints with delivery, and yes, the tubes can turn up in quite a state.
And if
sometimes.
that happens, though, you just write us and we send you a new print.
Yes.
Very easy.
After you've destroyed the old one.
Exactly, which makes some people angry.
Yeah. Someone here called He Walks. I'm not one for commenting, since my contribution is so small and I don't even play video games. But I personally really like the concept of the emotional vials that we showed off last week. When I was little, I was utterly fascinated by pretty glassware in stores and tended to hoard as many little bottles and jars and vials as I could, because I would pretend I was a wizard or magician.
I think we all pretended we were wizards and magicians when we were kids.
Didn't we all want to do magic?
We all did.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, liking the vials. I think the vials might make it in. Seems a pretty popular concept.
Those are pretty cool, I have to say. I like those quite a lot.
And here is a comment with someone who I believe is in the chat, Wendy Jar. I love the thought of Wonder Lair. I would move to Thailand just for it if I could.
Well, we did see a lot of people commenting in a similar fashion about Wonder Lair, who were saying that if we built it, they would never leave. Because I posted this up over on my Facebook page, and that is, by the way, very disturbing.
It's the thing, isn't it?
Well, it's the thing, but somebody's slapped Trump's head on it.
It's the thing.
And it's about, there's big old barrels of MAGA going on behind him there. That's really disturbing. But yeah, so the Wonder Lair post here on my Facebook page, what I said here was that this is just an idea, but is that we'd also make it a vacation destination for Alice fans. So imagine a location where you can take the most amazing cosplay photos, explore the Cheshire's forest, or interact with an animatronic Mad Hatter. Spend a few nights in the Queen's Castle. Just don't lose your head. Don't lose your head, Martin.
I'll try not to.
So yeah, this actually pulled a ton of comments. And one of the very common comments was, I would never leave. People are saying this would be on their bucket list, and can I come and work there? And this guy came to complain about Anthem. Hey, buddy.
Apparently the demo was a bit of a disaster.
Yeah, but hi, I'm not EA, and I can't help you with Anthem. So, no, go away. We're talking about a theme park in Thailand.
I want to talk about Anthem.
Yeah. But there were quite a few people who not only wanted to visit, but they wanted to go live there. They wanted to go work there. So they were pretty into this. Yeah.
When I first saw that comment, I thought Wendy Jar may have actually been in Thailand or was Thai because of the surname. Like Tony Jaa, the famous action movie star, is from Thailand. Apparently not.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a it doesn't sound like a Thai name to me, but I could
that's
be
his
wrong.
Western
It must
movie
be,
name.
because your typical Thai name is much more complicated than that.
Than Tony.
Or Ja.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
Ooh, the Mad Catter super chats. Thank you. Just to say, we must have a tarot deck. Hashtag Alice is life. We are looking into it. I do hope that it works. It's a thing. There's no reason we can't, I don't think. But
Well, it looks more and more like we're going to be able to do that.
Yeah, but it's being deeply looked into, not just casually. So,
well, what have you done so far?
I have used our magical Excel sheet that we used for the Out of the Woods Kickstarter to put in some values and figures and like, what if the marketing spend with this? How much does it cost to produce? I already talked to the factory people, so I know how much it would be. I plugged all the figures into the Excel sheet, and it looks like it could work.
There you go. Well,
quite
good to
easily,
know.
actually.
It could work. And yeah, so we've talked to the manufacturers. We've thought about the whole setup. Could do. And we've also had some other recent developments that might make it sort of allow us to do that a little more easily as well. But I can't talk about those things. Grr. Soon. Very soon. Anyway, not to worry. It is contest time. You can now get the last thing that we made over on Kickstarter, and that is Out of the Woods. This is a game, a card game. Some people have called this card game Emo Uno, and that is because we basically copied the rules for Uno and stuck it in a box with some gory American McGee art on it.
There's a little extra to it.
This was quite successful over on Kickstarter, and everyone that we have seen receive this game and all the little bits and pieces around the world has been really happy with it.
Yeah, most people are happy, and the people that aren't happy, it's got nothing to do with us. It's like the postman was a bit violent with delivery.
Well, there is that one guy who's just not happy about anything.
There's a couple of guys in there that weren't happy.
Didn't really matter what you did. Anyway.
Yeah. So what shall they spam?
Spam up. Spam up what your favorite emo band is. Mine is going to be The Cure.
Do I have one?
You don't even know. You don't know any music, Martin.
I don't know any music.
What about the Smiths? Depeche Mode. Morrissey.
I know all of these bands, but I wouldn't
Peter
say
Murphy.
I listen to them.
Love and Rockets. Bauhaus. Skinny Puppy. Come on, Martin.
Name some more.
Name some more what?
Emo bands.
Well,
Maybe I'll see some more in the chat and I can...
Spam is my favorite emo band. Death
The
Looks.
Cure, no.
Depeche Mode.
Chemical Romance.
I love Depeche Mode very
Crown
much.
the Empire.
Nickelback.
Nickelback.
Yeah, that's
Ooh,
Martin's.
they're
How
my
did you know?
favorites.
That's Martin's favorite band is Nickelback.
Depeche Mode. Last Dance. Fallout
Joy
Boy.
Division is good. I like that one.
Apparently, I don't listen to emo music.
Apparently, you don't listen to anything.
I do. Just not cool stuff.
You've failed all of the music tests that we've had on the last 3 streams. What is your favorite band?
I don't know if I have a favorite.
Come on.
I mean, recently, my music folder, I'm not saying there's anything like really cool in there, but it's quite diverse. I mean, I've got some Chemical Brothers in there, Death in Vegas, I've got some Killers, Faith No More, 9 Inch Nails,
Okay.
Lana Del Rey.
All right. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, we won't put you in prison just yet.
Yeah.
All right. Why don't we roll it? Let's see who's going to win. Elizabeth Alexander. EA. This is who we're licensing the game from. Get out. Everyone hates you.
Oh.
I'm just
Well,
kidding.
we also had Elsie Awesomeness earlier.
There's two of them now.
Another
There's a
EA.
kind of a theme emerging here. So Elizabeth Alexander, we don't hate you. We love you, in fact. And you have won the Nightbot selection process, and you're going to get a copy of Out of the Woods. But you've got to email us at mysterious@americanmcgee.com. Send along your name, which it looks like might be Elizabeth Alexander, your phone number, mailing address, and the fact that you won this box card game of Out of the Woods, and we will immediately ship one of these to you. And if you're lucky, it'll leave China and make it over to wherever you happen to be before the holiday gates close and China is shut down.
If you're
for
lucky.
the next month. If
Don't
you're lucky,
hold your breath.
Don't hold your breath. So congratulations on that, Elizabeth Alexander. She seems to not be alive or responding, but that's normal. So back to mean comment review. This is the Mysterious webpage over on Facebook. And I did post up that we were doing the live stream and that there was going to be this cutout paper doll thing to talk about. And one of the first comments was, you read that.
Nigel Manser. They've been with us quite a while.
He has.
This paper cutout of Alice thing doesn't seem very necessary or needed. That's just me. I don't really care for the idea. Well, it's not for everyone.
Yeah, but I always find these kinds of... Again, this goes back to the whole thing we were talking about before, when sometimes we post up that there's an offer or something to be purchased, and then people come into the comments and they say, I can't afford that. I find this to be strange. I feel like, does that person also go to every new commercial for a car on YouTube and watch the video and then go into the comments and say, I can't afford this?
Apparently some people do.
I don't know.
That's how they behave.
But also this comment falls into the same category. And I'm asking this from a genuine place of curiosity. And it may just be because I don't do this. I don't really comment online very much. But I usually comment only when there's something very positive or supportive to say. I never comment something like, well, this just isn't necessary. I don't know what.
Well, at least they were nice about it.
They were nice, and I'm not saying that they're not welcome to make these sorts of comments, but it is sort of like a person letting you know that they're just not interested in this, and they want everyone else to know that they're not interested in it. I don't know. I find these kinds of comments interesting. Just to say that. Anyway, if we scroll down a little bit further, this was the Wonder Lair post, and I said the same thing. I said that we're gonna make this studio, and maybe we'll make a fan destination there as well. And one of the first comments was, I'm not gonna go there unless it depends on how cheap it is, and I assume you're taking all the funding of this for this from Patreon. Well, Corey, we're not actually making that much money on Patreon, so I don't know about that. But again, it's like, she's trying to be sweet. I don't want to sound negative, but I just want to let you know. Well, okay, but there's a lot of assumptions in there, and oftentimes I wonder why assumptions aren't posed as questions. And then we got a lot of these. I love the concept, not the location. And again, there's not a lot of information in this. It's just, I don't like this, and I think, okay, well, what's the issue with the location?
And of course, it's going to be in the middle of downtown Bangkok.
Well, what would be the complaint? And of course, I posted this up. I said, look how beautiful it is. I mean, this literally looks like something out of one of our games, right? And so my thinking is like, what's wrong with the location? Because when you say not the location, it makes me think the location itself is somehow broken. And the response was, this person can't make it there because they have a medical issue. Now, this would say to me, I need to be more open to the possibility that people's reasons for not wanting to do things or not liking certain things, you never know. In this case, she's got a really valid point, which she couldn't make the flight. So, fair enough. That is fair enough. There's another one. As much as I'd love to go there, there's no way I'd ever go to Thailand. Again, it's like, when you first read that, doesn't that sound like, not Thailand.
Well, no, there's no way I'd ever be able to come. So I would be interested in the be able bit.
Right. Well, and then again, it's financial situation.
Yeah.
So it's I think this theme comes up more often than not. I liked this one. I'd go, but it seems too ambitious. What is too ambitious? Quintus? Grobler? Is he a Roblin Groblin?
Maybe.
But he says it's too ambitious. Yes, let's set our dreams at more realistic levels. Let's not be overly ambitious.
Let's not shoot for the stars. Let's do just good enough.
Boy. But that came up a little bit later on. I think it was actually Nigel that came back. And so he came back again. Again, there's Nigel. And he says, if you could ever have the money to pull it off, it would be nice. But given the situation, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't a massive stretch. Now, we have Nigel having established himself as a negative Nelly. Would that be fair enough to say?
Based on this chat, yes. But based on what I know of Nigel from other chats, probably not.
Right. Well, Nigel's a good guy. But so I did say to him, look, let's, first rule of negotiation, never open with what you're actually asking for. And the reason that applies to this situation is that we are actually pitching financiers. And when you go to pitch a financier, and let's say you need $10 to make your project a reality, you never ask for just $10. That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
You always ask for a lot more than what you actually need because you assume that during the negotiation, you're going to have to give up certain things. And a lot of times what you're giving up is the amount of money that you're going to get. So when we go to make the pitch for this project and this studio, it includes the kitchen sink and everything. I mean, it's like, we want $30 million. We're going to make a game. We're going to make this studio. We're going to make all this merchandise. And they may come back to us and say, woo, that sounds really ambitious. How about only $20 million? And then we'll secretly go, yay! We got $20 million. But if we start at 20 million, inevitably they'll come back and be like, how about 10? And then we'll be crying. And it's weird how $10 million is actually useless in relation to the thing we're trying to do. If someone came to us tomorrow and said, would you take $10 million to make the new Alice game? We would have to say no. Now, it depends on what kind of constraints and restrictions. If they said, can we give you 10 million to start going to raise more money to make an Alice game? Then yeah, sure. But if they said, look, we want to be the only ones that fund this and publish it, and we're only going to give you $10 million, you'd walk away because it wouldn't be enough. But the second rule of negotiation, as I pointed out here, was just that. Never negotiate against yourself. So never go into this and start low. Never go in there and say exactly what it is that you want. And then when they come back and they say, well, how about you do it this way? You always just kind of keep going a little higher than what they're coming back with.
Sounds like you've negotiated before.
Well, the whole point of this is you don't know what you can achieve. You don't know what people will say yes to. And if you decide beforehand what's impossible, then you'll never ask for anything beyond what you think you can get or what you think you can deserve. And I actually think this is one of the larger things that people end up with as sort of having failure in their life, is that they don't go out and act as a salesman, which makes me kind of laugh. Like one of those comments on the thread we were looking at before was, the only thing Americans ever been good at is being a salesman. You know what? There's a lot of people out there who'd be happy to be good salesmen, because it is an important facet of going out and making projects and studios and raising money. And so if you had to choose, you could be the world's most brilliant game creator, but your ability to sell your concept was zero.
Right.
Or you could have an incredible ability to sell concepts, but it turns out that your ability to create was sort of so-so. But you could go and hire people who could help you create. Which way would you go?
Number 2.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Number 2.
Oh, funny, Martin. Very, very funny.
It looks like we missed a trick as well. Jackal X137 said they were just about to give us 10 million.
Whoa,
and
no,
we
rejected it. Well, I said we didn't reject it. We reject it depending on the constraints. That's it. Yeah. If you give us that and it's an initial amount towards the larger amount, then yeah, that works. But if someone comes and says that's the only money you can get, that's not going to work. So anyway, we are getting close to the end of our stream. We are going to give away our last and final prize here in just a moment. That is going to be this White Rabbit plush inside of its amazing little...
Which is not exactly white, but...
Shh, be quiet.
Grey rabbit plush.
Don't do that.
They can see.
You just got to tell them what it is. Be a salesperson, man. Come on. And so speaking of being a salesperson, let's just jump right into the thing that we do at the end here. Oh, I can't find. Did you open the page up? No.
Patreon?
No, the website that's got all the things to do.
It's somewhere. It's definitely open. I've seen it.
I didn't see it. But yeah, so we are going to wrap this up. We are going to give away that last prize. Just very quickly, we are going to go through this. There are some things you can do to help us in our endeavor to make Alice 3 reality. Do keep in mind, take all of what we're trying to do here with a grain of salt until we actually secure the license and raise the money. Who knows? This may or may not happen. But in the meantime, we are making tons of art and story and physical things, and you do get to own those things. You get to hold those things. And at some point in the future, someone, if it's not me, but maybe a better salesman, will figure out how to make this thing come to life. So I don't think all is lost. And I also feel quite positive about where we're going because I know what's going on behind the scenes. Shh. I signed an NDA. But anyway, if you do want to join us and support our adventure, there are a couple things you can do. You can sign our spammy mailing list.
You have been spamming that.
Yeah, I've been spamming this pretty hard this month, so I apologize for that. But there are about 40,000 people, fewer now, as they unsubscribe. Too much spam. But there are about 40,000 people on the mailing list, and actually we usually only send out one email per month to that list.
Usually.
We were being a little bit aggressive this month due to the White Rabbit promotion, but that will stop as of basically now. You can also follow me over on social media. This is where you can send all your mean comments and tell me that I'm trying to ride on the money fountain. That's what Facebook is for. Twitter is really good for being insulting. Instagram. You can also, I like when people submit their support questions to Instagram. Like they write and they say, hey, I ordered something on Patreon and it came damaged. Can you help me?
Messages on Patreon.
I'm like, this is Instagram. I don't even know what your real name is.
I had one of those on Facebook. We prefer that you talk to us on Patreon for Patreon issues. It helps us connect you to the thing.
I don't know who you are. And of course, there is YouTube, which is the thing you're watching us on right now. And you can help to grow that audience. We do try to live stream once a week. Usually our live streams are better than this one, but it's the holidays.
This has been a good one. It's been lively. Mr. Oxlong asks me what I think of the game We Happy Few. I have no opinion because I haven't played it.
I see.
We watched a video, like a trailer or something, when people were suggesting it.
Yeah, we did. I heard it was
fun.
Yeah, we never got around to watching it.
No, right now, like I said, I'm playing Resident Evil 2 Remake.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Scared the poop out of me a couple of times.
That's that smell is. I knew that something had gone wrong here. Anyway.
I finished it with Chris.
Thank you, Mike.
Leon.
Wow.
Yeah, Leon.
Thank you, Mike, for that. And so back to the other things you can do. So this is, of course, the part where we pimp our Patreon page. This is where you can support us for as little as $1 a month. And that gives you access to stuff like our Discord server, which is where we do our weekly crowd design review. We do have this crazy White Rabbit collector set thing going on right now. I have a feeling that everybody who's watching this video right now already knows this and is probably in line to get one of these. But anyway, go to there, click on the link. It'll explain to you how you can get this crazy collector set for just $45 sent to you anywhere in the world with free shipping. Wow! And you can also, what's all this stuff? Tell the people what they'll get, Martin.
Art prints. If you're at the 3 for 35 level. Are we talking about Patreon now?
Yes.
Yeah. You get to choose your print after 3 months, or at the $75 level, it's a print per month, which is whatever print we decide for that month, but they're always fantastic.
They are super beautiful. That's the thing. I mean, yeah, this is helping us to support the creation of the art and the design and all the stuff that we're doing towards the new game. But there are physical, actual things you get in exchange for your support. So it's not like we're just riding the money fountain and there are no strings attached. We do have a responsibility to deliver stuff. And I think we've done a pretty good job of sending stuff. I mean, on a monthly basis now, what are we doing? It's like 1,000 art prints.
Not quite that much, but it's
a lot.
Multiple hundreds.
It's a lot. And
which somebody in the chat says they are still waiting for prints.
Oh, yeah, mention that.
We are still playing catch-up after the Christmas, December-y type break we had. Because we had a lot of prints to do that month. And we also had to do the Out of the Woods prints, and we were playing catch-up, so we are still doing it.
Well,
sorry if you're waiting.
I think you need to be much more specific in this sense. There are about 130 or 140 people who should be waiting for art prints that have not been sent out, and those prints will not be sent out now until we come back from Chinese New Year, because, as we said at the beginning of the stream, everything is shut down now. And we were frantically trying to get everything sent out.
We did loads.
We actually ran out of the tubes. And then when we tried to order tube replenishment, that factory canceled the order and said, we're out of here. We're off. And so we're sitting here with all the art. Everything's ready to go. We can print the labels, but we ain't got no tubes.
So yes, I know it's an annoyance, but we will send everything eventually.
We will.
Sorry for the delay.
All right. Last but not least, there is a shop called Mysterious where you can apparently buy my junk, according to that angry commenter over on PC Gamer. So if you like junk, we literally have Greg's junk up on the shop. So that person was not lying at all. There is literally junk on the shop. And so that is how you can support what we're doing here. Your support is very much appreciated. We love you all very much for being along for this crazy ride. And I do hope that once we get back from Chinese New Year break, we're going to have lots of fun stuff to talk to you about in terms of updates and movement. You got anything else?
Roll Nightbot.
We're going to roll Nightbot. We're going to see who wins. 3, 2, 1. Overstart.
All right,
Overstart. You won yourself a white rabbit plush. And it's the little doll, and it's the bag. And he's got a little spare eye in the bag as well. Yeah. So that's about it. I'm going to try maybe to stream from Thailand from my laptop if I can get a decent connection. So I may or may not see you all again while I'm out there. Who knows? You will not be streaming because you don't have internet in Fauntlord Castle.
Don't stay out there too long. You got to come back and we've got stuff to do.
Yeah.
Tubes to send, people to talk to.
Yeah. That's about it. So appreciate all of you joining us today, and hope you all have a very fantastic Chinese New Year as we go into the Year of the Pig. Jib it up.
Jib it up.
Bye-bye.